No,
Okay,
I have a great one.
I
you
had
have
one.
paper's okay.
Yeah.
I
You can
had one
print.
because I tried to sign up for this before and I
Uh-huh.
printed it, but I didn't see it with the. Let me let me just not log off. I'm just gonna end my video and see if I can see it in my email. If it was an attachment to the original
When,
invitation.
yeah, when
There,
you
there was a
registered,
link. Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a link in the original
Okay.
email that
I'll
pointed you
just
to places where you can get them.
yeah.
thanks,
Okay.
Nathan. Hello, Maria. And if you can't find it, I can tell you where to go to locate a labyrinth. Maria, do you have some kind of a handheld labyrinth paper or something? I don't know if you heard me. Did you hear me? You held up yours, Michelle, and I'll be using this one. So Anna's looking, and okay, let's see. Maria, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Do you have a labyrinth?
What?
You have,
Don't have.
okay. When you registered, there were some places. Here, I'm going to open up the chat box. You have?
Yeah, I got it. It's right with the email. I
Good,
just
yeah.
printed the same one you did.
Okay, that's the medieval charter style. That's great. And that's at the veriditas.org site.
There it is.
So do you have a printer handy, Maria?
Let's see. There it is.
Oh,
To print it.
Oh, good. Yours is in purple and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're, oops, that's me. If you're using paper, what I recommend, instead of just drawing a line, like a straight line, the way we used to do the mazes when we were kids, you might want to have two colors or a pencil and a pen. And you might want to draw like circles on the way in, leave a space, and maybe X's on the way out, or it more closely approximates taking steps. It's just a little better. So Maria, do you have some kind of labyrinth to use tonight?
um, I don't have anything. Maybe I just watch or something.
Well, you're
I
welcome to can you open up the chat box? And do you have a printer? Do you have a printer at your computer? If you go
so
to veriditas.org,
well, I probably don't know how to do that.
do you have a printer?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I will show you. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna share my screen, and I want to go to my, I'm just gonna quickly try to show you how to do this. I guess I want to go to my desktop, I think is what I want to do. Now what are you seeing? Are you seeing a messy desktop?
See your screen, I suppose. Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom.
All right. So if you go to, like here, I'm doing this right now, veriditas.org. And if you go there, if you type that in, and that's in the chat box, you find this. This is the organization I belong to. And then all you do is come down here where it says Finger Labyrinth Walks. It's about that far down. You can download a paper version right here. You click on that, and then you print this. That's what Anna just did. Just that fast. That sound good?
I am going to try. I'm
Good.
going to
Okay.
try your instructions. Mhm.
All right. Okay.
Um,
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. So the title
hmm,
of
okay.
tonight, I'm
So,
not gonna,
um,
you have
I'm
question?
going to- Hmm. What's going on here? My printer needs to be connected.
Oh.
Printing for a while, but I'll do what you say. Let's see.
It's difficult. Yeah, you can just listen, but when we walk for, it'll be about 8 minutes. You will not be able to do that unless you have a labyrinth. So if you have a labyrinth, I think that yours is the plastic kind too,
Okay,
Michelle. isn't it?
now my printer
Mine's
is on.
wood. It's,
Okay.
My printer is on.
it's double-sided wood.
So I go to chat, right?
And so are you go to veritas.org?
I am on chat. It says veritas.org. Yes.
All right, and then
Yes.
you go down about, I don't know, to the part where on the right it'll talk about finger labyrinth walks.
Type what? So can
Yeah.
you say?
I'm trying to pull mine up again, and then we're gonna have to get going. Have
Oh,
you
it's
got
here,
this?
it's here. Okay, it's here.
You got it? And then
Yes, I got it. And
and then
now
you click download. Yeah, and this comes up.
I have it here. Click download.
Click on download. This comes up, and then you print it.
Okay. Oh, there is a printing. Is that what it is here? Oh.
Right here, you can download a paper version. And when you click on that, this is what happens. You get this printable, this one right here. And then you print.
No. Okay.
Okay.
No.
Okay, we're gonna have to.
Here, I just put it in the chat. Just click on the link in the chat. Maria, again, the second one I put up, and see
That's
if
an
it
even better idea. Yeah.
it should just go
Thanks.
right to the labyrinth that you can print.
Okay. Okay.
Do you see the second link I posted?
Oh no, I
It's
think
right
Did you
under.
open the chat box, Maria?
Yeah, it goes right to the labyrinth.
open the chat. Oh,
At the bottom of your screen, click on chat, and it over on the right, it'll open this up, and the second box Anna put
Yes.
in, click on it. Click on the link,
Screen.
and the labyrinth comes up.
Spotify, Zoom. Oh, that's your screen and you here, but
Am I still sharing? No, I stopped.
No, Maria,
Mm.
you have to it's in your Zoom while you're in Zoom. It's the chat box in Zoom.
yeah, I am on the Zoom and the chat box, and what
And
comes is whiteboard, Spotify, things like that. Doesn't
No.
come. No.
All
So
right.
Maria, are you looking at this on your phone or an iPad or on a laptop?
but
Because she walked wherever she was walking, so she has something portable. She might
Yeah,
not be
but
connected to a printer.
Yes. Um, hmm. I don't know. Now,
Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
oh, yeah,
Well,
okay, that's here.
what do you see on your screen?
I see you only now, and there is your on the left of you, Marianne. I see Marianne only. Let
Oh,
me see. Let me see here something else. Hmm.
uh,
So on the chat there is now I see.
Okay.
There is a website
yes. Click
that's
on
this
that.
communities US.
Yes.
That's
Click
this
on,
one.
yes, click on it and
Okay, I open it now.
it'll be the labyrinth.
It's coming. Okay, let's see.
Then
It's
that's
coming.
when it
Oh.
stops spinning, when it gets here, that's what you print.
Okay, it's coming. It's not yet there. Oh, it's there. Oh,
Yes.
oh, and now what?
And now you
Now
can
you
print.
print. Now you print that.
Oh, and now I can print it.
Yes.
What is the printing thing? Draw. There
Uh,
is. Oh,
just normally, like however you,
yeah, there is one here.
yeah.
Yeah, print. Okay.
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 Okay, good.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
make,
Let's see what's going on. It's going on now. Hmm.
Okay, so while Maria's printing, so Imbolc, are any of you Irish? Any of you Celtic? Yes, so you probably, yeah, maybe. Do you know what Imbolc means?
Well,
The
now it's
word?
coming. This
Okay,
the printing
I
is
saw,
coming.
yes.
okay, I'm beginning now because we're late. Okay, although it won't matter with four of us. Do you know, Anna? Do you happen to know?
Yeah, I did a ceremony today, candle mass and Imbolc with Bridget. And
Oh,
I did that.
good. Well,
Yeah, I've been celebrating for 3, 4 years. So I just took my tree down today. And I do
so
drinking.
So you might know more about this even than I, because I only started learning about this maybe, I don't know, 4 years ago or so.
I'm here for it. I'm happy to be here.
That good. Well, if you were holding a ceremony, this is your chance to receive, so to
It's
speak.
all good.
Good. So if you have, you probably already know this, Michelle, but if your wooden or plastic labyrinth has an indentation, a trough, a place to put your finger, what I recommend is using your non-dominant hand and seeing if you can walk with your eyes closed, with just one of the fingers of your non-dominant hand.
And
Now you
stay in
cannot do that with paper because there's no trough. You can't do that with paper. So that's what I was saying. To approximate steps, draw an X, skip a space, draw an X, and then coming out, draw circles in between the X's, or try that. Okay, so Imbolc means in the belly, because this was the time of year in Ireland. I guess it still is the time of year, although global warming is kind of changing many things. This is the time of year when lambs are being born, or getting ready to be born. Okay, lambs are getting ready to be born. So I'm going to begin. If you happen to have a candle with you, you can light it with me, and if you don't, or you don't want to, that's fine. You can just hold up your finger, or you can find the image of a candle on your phone, and okay. And this is reminding us that we're leaving Chronos, we're leaving trying to find the link and trying to print and doing all those tasks. And we're dedicating this time to Kairos, and we're dedicating this time for our highest well-being individually, but also collectively, that our planet might receive some healing. And I'm just going to set that aside. And I'm going to do kind of a land acknowledgement. If you know, creation spirituality is big in body prayer. If you would like to stand up and move around, orient yourself so you know where north is. And of course, you can find east and south and west. And I would invite you to face the directions when I say them and gesticulate as you find appropriate. And I am going to share my screen here. I'm sorry, this is just a little different. Okay. I'm sorry again. All right. I am Am I sharing my screen yet?
No.
No.
All right. Okay. I've lost you. I mean, I've got one little tiny, here we go. Oh, good. Here we go.
Got
Share
it.
screen, go here, share here, make this be like slideshow. Okay. So tonight we're celebrating this moving from restoration to exploration. So restoration was the time, early winter, and that's the last thing we were kind of in the middle of. That was the solstice. We were becoming the light at the solstice, but we were restoring ourselves and being quiet. And now we're into exploring, and we'll do some of that in a little bit here. But I learned from Kahantakwas Diane Longboat, who's a Haudenosaunee elder, that invocation of thanks should be done before anything important. And so we're celebrating tonight, and we'll talk more about that, but we're starting with thanks. That's the heart of what we're about to do. And I learned from Robin Wall Kimmerer, and you might want to mute yourselves for this. She's a Potawatomi botanist and an author of Braiding Sweetgrass and other books, and she's an educator. And she talks about kinship begins by paying attention to all the more than human beings around us. And when we do this, we develop a gift thinking, seeing how truly blessed we are, that all these more than human beings surrounding us are gifts to us. We've done nothing to deserve it. That leads us to gratitude and thinking of these beings as our kin. Therefore, we want to pay more attention to them, and the beautiful cycle continues. Okay. And so because labyrinths are connected to both place and people, we want to deepen this connection. And we now begin with an attitude of gratitude. And this is where you might want to gesture or move. I honor the cosmos. I look north to the earth of which I'm made. I look east to the air within my lungs. I look south to the warmth of the sanctifying sun that provides us with photosynthesis and plants with every sacrifice. I look west to the water without which I would die. The stars above me, I'm twinkling the stars above me, provided the dust which formed the calcium of my bones. The minerals, microbes, and mycelial systems beneath me provide unseen grounding and essential communication. The soul within me yearns to acknowledge and come into balance with the web of which I am just a tiny part. I am so grateful. I honor the plant beings and animal beings. I honor indigenous peoples before we begin, for their memory is the correct starting point for human history on earth. They were the original custodians of this land. They held ceremony for eons. Here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, I honor the Monacan people. They had to fight to be recognized. For their land to be recognized as their ancestral land, they had to go to U.S. courts. I'm sorry about that, and I thank you for your wisdom. I invite the ancestral spirits to guard and bless this place, this walk, this circle we're making. I invite the angels of light to safeguard all walkers. I thank the great mystery who conceived this, who became this, and who remains with us. We are so grateful. Thank you for joining me in that. So when you talk about Imbolc, we do talk about Bridget. And one of the things I wanted just to say, because I learned this, I always like to share something that I've recently learned. You might know what syncretism is. And it is, as it says, the practice of combining different beliefs and various schools of thought. It involves merging or the assimilation of several originally separate traditions, especially in theology and mythology of religion. Then that basically asserts an underlying unity. So what happened, and this is what, I mean, I grew up in a very strict Roman Catholic tradition. And because I grew up German, I don't remember learning much about St. Bridget, okay? So what happened was the goddess Bridget with a T, and all this fire, Bridget celebrated, the goddess culture celebrated the lambs coming, and it's a cross-quarter day, so that the solstices and the equinoxes form the cross made by the sun. So it's the most sun, the least sun, the northern hemisphere, and then the equal amounts of sun. But then what our ancient ancestors did was take each of those seasons and cut in half. So this is a cross-quarter day, and it's the beginning, in Ireland anyway, it's the beginning of spring, and in other parts of the world, we just call it midwinter. But they took the goddess Bridget, and this syncretism came into play. She became Saint Bridget, and she founded some monastic communities in Ireland, and even I've read that she was a bishop in the Celtic church. And so the church took this goddess tradition and made it based on a saint. That became Candlemas Day, or the presentation when Mary took Jesus to the temple. And in what we did celebrate in my tradition was the blessing of the throats. What was it, Saint Dismas, I think? No. I can't remember, but on the blessing of the throat.
Saint Basil.
Basil?
Yes.
Basil?
Yep.
Thank you. I had that the other day, but
yeah,
today.
They do that. They used to do that.
Yep. And now, of course, it's secular. And this morning, what I read was that Poxahani Phil did not see his shadow, and so we are supposed to have an early spring. We are not supposed to have a whole lot more winter, which would be nice, wouldn't it? So these images, I referred to the lambing, and I referred to the fire, this fire of the goddess Bridget. This is very interesting because the monasteries, St. Bridget and her Brigidine sisters, kept this going until I think it was the 16th century, when the monasteries were closed by England. But even then, the sisters kept a secret kind of way. They had a way of keeping the fire going. And it was reinstated again I guess within about 50 years or less ago. So, I mean, I think that fire is very interesting because that desire to have these ancient symbols that go way back are, it's a very deep desire. And let's see now. There are lots and lots of legends associated with Bridget. One is she was born on a threshold. Her mother literally was walking out the door and had to squat and give birth to Bridget. So she is the goddess of the thresholds, of the inside and the outside worlds. And all kinds of other metaphors have been used for that. But this little picture right here is her cloak, and the wonderful story associated with that. She had a dream that she was going to know where to build her monastery, and so she went to that place, and she went to that king, because there were all these little kingdoms in Ireland, and she said, I want to build a monastery, and he said, oh, okay. She said, I want to build it here, and he kind of laughed, and she didn't leave, and she was praying the whole time that this fellow would see it her way. Maria, you might want to mute. You might want to mute.
I can hear you. Oh,
You can hear me? Good, because we can sometimes hear you too. You might want to mute yourself.
I didn't, my printer didn't print it. So I
Okay,
don't know
sorry.
in front of me in the computer. That's why I don't see you. You don't see me probably.
I see you, but okay, I don't know what you want to do, but if you can mute yourself now, that would be really good.
Well, all I have in my computer is it's that thing. I don't see you, so I don't also see anything else.
You might want to leave and come back in. Welcome,
Okay.
Mary. We're just
Okay.
getting started here. Okay, bye, Maria.
Yeah.
All right. So, what we've done here now is associate this day, this celebration, with our ancestors. So we've done what Sheldrake says. We've entered the morphic field that our ancestors created, and I think there's a value in that, because these kinds of celebrations don't occur much anymore unless you go to the Burning Man. I mean, I guess some people make a point of having them, and in creation spirituality, we try to. So I'm trying to continue to make this a cosmic, connected with the cosmos, or we wouldn't be doing it. I do like what Christine Balters Paintner said about this. Often in Ireland, I've heard Bridget described as a bridge between the pre-Christian and Christian traditions, between the other world and this one. So a threshold, a bridge over the threshold. She brings the natural and human world. All right. And then this is the cosmic place. Okay. I want to see something here. All right, good. So I've been reading The Universe Story by Brian Swim and Thomas Berry. And at some point in this book, they're going through the birth of the universe and the evolution, and they get to plants and animals, and they're asking the question, what is it that shapes life? And they get to genetic mutation, and eventually they differentiate it from natural selection, which is what Charles Darwin talked about, and made it always sound like just the survival of the fittest. But really, they're saying mutation, and it's not just mutation, it's a chance or a random or a mistake but they're, especially with the two words they use, stochastic and error, with those things, you're moving toward some goal in the darkness. You know there's a goal there, and you just kind of like, it's sort of like blindly trying to find your way. But they talk about the wild is a great beauty that seethes with intelligence that is ever surprising and refreshing for the human mind to behold. And that a fundamental dynamic in all this evolution is wild freedom. So when you talk about mutations, it's the discovery of an untamed and untamable energy at the organic center of life. Not only is such creativity there, it is centrally there. For without this wild energy, life's journey would have ended long ago. And I'm not going to explain it super well, but they're even saying there's a psychism, there's an intelligence there that is, I think what it is, even these little tiny organisms are choosing life. They're choosing to remain alive. And in so doing, they don't operate alone anymore. They get together with other beings like themselves and make a community, and they turn into something different. Instead of remaining individual hydrogen atoms that pollute the planet with too much oxygen, and we almost lost our planet, they joined together with other organisms and found out how to use photosynthesis, which was just a phenomenal step forward for this planet. So there's an intelligence there. There's an intentionality. There's an intention. So let's get back to Bridget, because she's saying in her introduction, let me move this, to the Wisdom of Wild Grace book. I'm going to read you a little piece of that, if I may, because I loved it so much. The more we cultivate our own intimacy with the wild, the more we open to different truth. The wild is a place within us. Animals have offered a window into an aspect of the divine presence that is more intuitive, more instinctual, wilder. And the monastic tradition held the conviction that this kind of connection and friendship with the animal world was a sign of holiness at work. So I'm going to read you a poem because I thought she did a fabulous job with it. I hope you like it. It's in this book of hers, The Wisdom of Wild Grace, and it's called St. Bridget and the Oyster Catchers. And let's see, I don't think you're going to be able to see this. I'll hold this up here. Oh, there. There's a wonderful picture of St. Bridget and the Oyster Catchers. Wonderful modern icon. Now, I'll tell you about it. Because Bridget was always one of those, you know, she didn't get married the way her parents wanted her to. And there are a lot of stories about that. But anyway, it opens with her being pursued. She runs fierce and swift while men give chase, heart beating wildly, until she reaches the water's edge and can go no more. Hearing their angry shouts of menace on the wind, she falls to the soft sand, lets gravity receive her until her breath slows, and she feels at one with the sea. Oyster catchers circle overhead, an apparition in white and black. Orange bills gather dillisk, carrageen, algae, create a wild blanket of green and rust until she vanishes and becomes the shore. The men run past. Mistake. the gentle rise and fall under a pile of seaweed and grass for the rhythm of the sea, and Bridget sits up slowly. The birds encircle her, nibble on winkles and limpets, a seaside feast of communion. Her eyes fill with large drops that splash from wet lashes. Then comes laughter rising from her gut, weeping and joy together like a song as they land on her shoulders, arms, and hands. Sometimes we have to yield our bodies fully to Earth's embrace, to taste the end so near, to feel hope slip away like a boat across sea's foam surface, before we can feel the truth again of how things hidden can become a revelation, and heaven is there in the cries of birds among waves and sand. So St. Bridget, okay, here we go. Now, I hope what I've said has made a little bit of sense as far as what we're celebrating today. I took a picture this morning. My husband had planted some daffodils just outside our door, just in the mulch, you can see, but they're starting to come up. Because when I think of midwinter, I don't think of planting seeds. I think of planting seeds in me, but this is, they're coming up. This is not terrific poetry, but it's a little something to maybe help us think. Remember your garden, how you want to sustain yourself, what you wish to grow, the fruit you wish to bear, and specify your intent. Prune and weed what doesn't sustain life, what doesn't belong, what isn't productive. Turn over the soil and nurture it, ready it. Quiet yourself. Drop in the seeds of what you intend. Cover them gently with sweet energy. Did you plant what you thought you would? Did a surprise show up? Allow the mystery to work in the quiet darkness. Wait and watch for the first tiny shoots to appear. Build your muscles for the tending and harvesting. Trust each day. Dreams are realized. Prayers are answered. Not always as we think they should be. Seeds grow, but sometimes volunteers shock us. Get ready. So what we're doing now, I'm suggesting this intention if you did not bring your own, and you may have brought your own, but I'm suggesting that if we hold this together in our circle, may this planet and all beings know perfect life-sustaining peace now. There's power in numbers, there's power in intention. All right. Before we begin, I just want you to think about the exploration point. So we're planting. So if while you're sitting in your chair, perhaps you could just like begin to, with your imagination and with your gestures. So, not so much so, first of all, dig in the soil and feel the soil, feel the richness and feel your connection with Mother Earth, even though it's in our imagination. Gaia, Mother Gaia. And then we can sow seeds into that hole, or we can scatter it into a field. And we can cover over the seeds we put in the hole. And maybe even water it. Maybe with the hose, if it's not a watering can. So in just a moment, we're going to have our walk, and our music will be, I hope, if I do it right, Soulu Soul, the Soul album, and it's Imbolc acoustic. And the second piece up will be by Brendan MacLeod. The album is On the Edge of Time, Ancient Futures. So as I was saying, that we'll walk about 8 minutes or so, not quite 8 minutes. So I'm going to stop share. Here we go. Any questions before we begin? No. So if you have your labyrinth, I suggest that you put your hands on it and move them around in a clockwise motion. And before you even enter, what I have taken to doing for a few years now, count my blessings. Warm up the labyrinth, maintain a connection with the labyrinth, start counting blessings. Is there anybody here who's never walked a labyrinth before? Everybody has, good. Then on the way in, you release. You know the routine. All right, so now let's see if I can share some music. And I'll meet you back here, then we'll share for just a few minutes. Share screen and hear something? Thank you. if you're not quite finished, maybe you can draw things to a graceful conclusion best you can. And we do have a few minutes to share, if you wish, maybe what you explored on your walk. Any ideas or insights or intentions that came to you. And so if you'd like to, we have such a small group here. If you'd like to share, you can probably just raise your hand and I'll see you. You need to unmute, Anna.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for this experience. It's been a long time since I've walked the labyrinth. So what came to me was earlier in the day when I was doing the ceremony, I have a deck of cards called the Divine Feminine, and I actually got this goddess called Ariandin, and she's the mistress of the labyrinth. So I found when I was in it, I felt blessed when I started, and then I felt like I was rushing. So then I found myself, like the intention of there's a no rush policy on the planet and in our lives. And with this mistress of the labyrinth, she says, my soul knows the way. And the only way out is through. Because at one point I started crying because my dad passed away in September. So I just told my sister, so then I was like, where am I in the labyrinth? I kept saying, where am I? Where am I? So then I have courage and bravery and feeling the pain. And then I found where I was in the labyrinth so I could, and I did get out. So I'm not stuck in that grief. And I found that my ancestors were coming through, and that Bridget has that inner strength, that fire. And so I know that whatever comes our way, that I will be able to handle it with spiritual support and the things that I sign up for and stuff like that. So hope came through, and domestic harmony and things like that. So it was a good experience. I'll keep using it.
Yeah, I was going to suggest, for me personally, wow, that walking the labyrinth helped a lot with grief.
Okay.
And of course, that's part of the 4 paths, right?
Yeah.
Entering and releasing, and entering the darkness, and the quiet, the solitude, then that takes us to the creative center. Yeah, and then we can come back. Thanks for sharing, Anna.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sure. Nathan and I are going to do this again for the equinox for North Americans. It's the vernal equinox, and it actually falls on the 19th of March. However, he can't do it that night, so we're going to do it on the 20th, a Wednesday night. Yeah, it's the same time, 7 p.m. If you're interested, I'd love to see you. We had maybe 20 or 25 last time, and last time there were a bunch more who signed up, and this time there were probably 30 who signed up, and I think some people just expect to get the YouTube and listen, to that. Anybody else feel like sharing anything that came to you?
I was just going to say I didn't have a particularly good day today, and I'm in a little bit of transition between what I'm doing with my life, and so I was able to focus on all the true blessings in my life and open up space for what is to come, whatever that is. I will also say my oldest granddaughter is Bridget, and her birthday is this month, and she'll be 17. And I never knew it until a couple years ago when I saw about the Feast of St. Bridget. I said something to my daughter, "Oh, isn't this cool?" And my daughter, "Yeah, well, why do you think we picked that name?" Well, I had no idea. So, so this is, I have been trying to pay more attention to this, to Imbolc, and you know, thinking about my daughter and honoring my granddaughter and honoring her.
I encourage you, Michelle, to continue that, because I keep finding one really interesting story after another, you know, and my husband and I argue about this, but I think if stories last that long, there must have been some shred of truth to them when they started, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. I hope the rest of your weekend goes better. Yeah. Anybody else want to share something? Maria, you need to unmute.
Yeah, I'm not very good on this, but I'm okay. Anyways, Marianne, thank you so much. I understand you give your life to help other people in this theological field. I thank you a lot. It's very interesting. I knew about your biography quite long ago. I read it online, and just accidentally I tapped on this Zoom you sent. I didn't know it was from you. I don't know your groups and all this, but I remember you were doing something nice in writing and about on the way of the monastery way of Bridget, which is quite interesting. Right now, today, I was reading The Future of Man by Teilhard de Chardin. You may know. And Brian Swan is a follower of him, and it seems like you too. So you said things that they also say, and it's on my line of thought as well. So thank you for that. The music was really outstanding. I enter into it, and I will try to again to print, but I wasn't able to print. It didn't print somehow. I don't know why. But I understood your technique about it, and I will try. And I thank you
Good.
again.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Print out a few. When you get there, print out a few, then you'll have them. You know.
Yes, I asked someone. I asked my children to print it for me.
Yeah, they will. They will. And it's interesting, you know, Teilhard de Chardin greatly influenced Thomas Berry, who then influenced both Brian Swim and Matthew Fox, and here we are. It's all
a big biologist, David Sloan Wilson, recently converted to Teilhard de Chardin, and most of the scientists they don't. This one is a big scientist in the States, and they are building now the concept of scientific noosphere. They have a big, you know, this about this group, the science of the noosphere. So I follow that group as well. I receive emails very often from their groups. So it's in your line. It's very interesting. It's in your line that because of our difference in the wild that you mentioned is that you have the power to reflect.
Yes. And
this power to reflect, besides the power to reflect, we have the power to collect, to be a society. And the animals, they disperse themselves. So due to this power that we have to reflect and to collect, make societies. Our heredity, the time, you've been giving us, that's why I talk about, they are so precious for us, our ancestors, because they accumulated for us something that we don't need to learn. We need to learn,
Yes.
but we have it there.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
the animals have. That's why
Yeah.
we are in a position of man, of humanity, and our differences. And the energy that makes it happen, it's God, right? And the biologists don't want to, our mainstream science doesn't want to approach that.
But the physicists, the studying quarks, yeah, quantum physics.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
They are divided.
You know, Matt Fox says he agrees with you, Maria, that the fact that Homo sapiens had lived long enough to have ancestors gave us the tremendous benefit. All of the other, our predecessors died out because they couldn't pass down knowledge, information. They didn't have ancestors. They couldn't pass it down. They had to relearn everything anew each generation. It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. It's given me a better appreciation for ancestors, really.
Yes,
Thank you. Yeah, hope. Yeah.
Join us, the scientists who still don't want to pay attention. They just want to see, they don't want to see what is not there. But there is a lot of things not there that we don't see and is there. So
I was taught to believe in the unseen, you know. That's very important.
Perception, there's so many things that we don't see. It's there for sure. Yeah.
Mary, where are you? Where are you coming from?
Kentucky.
Great, welcome. Yeah. So we had Nebraska, and Maria, where are you?
I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Wow.
Wonderful. Thanks for coming. And Anna, I can't remember. Did you tell me?
Michigan.
That's right.
Michigan.
Southeastern.
Yeah.
Great. I'm in Virginia, Central Virginia. Well, I think we've gone over a little bit. I better stop this, or who knows what Nathan will do to me. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. And gosh, March, if you come in March, we'll be in that season getting ready for resurrection. So it'll be an interesting time then too.
Okay. One day at a time.
That's right. God bless.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.